there's, like, a statue of him in the middle of the mountain. Like, it's very, like...
So is the Morgan god? I mean, the Morgan, that's Akatar. Is Morgan dead? You're saying he has a statue. Is he, like, dead in the statue? Like...
No. He's not dead in the statue, Kelly. He's like the elves. Like, he's not like...
in a higher plane?
He's, like, just he's, like, somewhere.
Okay.
He's not, like... He's not, like, an actual physical, like... The elves will come, like, you know, make an appearance, because they actually have their own little, like... The Fae. Like, their castle, palace. He's just, like... Nobody knows what's up with him. He hasn't been seen in...
Who knows how long.
But the king is, like, very, very... Love him.
That sounded awkwardly suspicious.
He's very passionate about Morgan.
Interesting.
I love him. No, I do like him. He's a great character. You have 23. Why?
Why do I have 23 gods?
That's a lot.
So, they didn't start out as 23.
You're just like, I need a god for war. I need a god
for
prophecies.
Okay, so...
I love folklores, actually. I call them
Okay, so... My world's very complex. I'm going to start there. So it all revolves around the map, right? And the original map was drawn with 9 nations. Originally, there were... No, it wasn't 9 nations. It was 8 nations. My apologies. I gotta count these, actually. There was... Wait, 1, 2, 3...
There's like 1. Where's that?
There was 6 on the main mass, and 9 nations. I was right, 9 nations. There was 9 nations originally. 8 had gods and 1 did not. And then I was talking to Alistair, and Alistair was like, "Bro, you can't just say R.I.P. the dwarves. They can't have a god."
Yeah.
So the dwarves ended up getting a god in the end. Hence, there was a 9th god created.
Okay.
Now we're up to 9. So how it works is every nation has a resting deity. So for every nation there is 1 god. And that nation's resting deity resides over that nation, and depending on the nation, that god will either have a direct hand in the governance of that nation, or they won't have a hand at all.
Okay.
So it's give or take depending on the rule of the nation.
Okay.
But they're the guardian deity of that nation. And they all have their own deity of blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a god of contracts.
That's why. I just want... The god just, like...
There's a god of contracts. There's a god of...
We have priests and priestesses for that.
There's a god of time. There's a god of creation. There's a god of death. There's a god of life. There's a god of... darkness, I think that's what he's called, technically. And then I think I've got a god of luck. I think those are the main ones on the continent. Oh, the god of the forge is also on the continent. The main landmass. I think those are the original 9 on the continent. So they're the original OGs. And then I was like, for lore purposes.
For the lore gets intense.
For lore purposes, I'm going to create one more. For lore purposes, I'm going to create the god that was the founder of all the gods. So, like, you know, the Zeus.
Zeus. He probably ate his...
So... So... I created the Zeus-type character. And the Zeus-type character, residing with the lore, needed their own nation. Hence, the creation of a 10th nation on the main landmass. It's underground. So, there's 10th landmass.
Okay.
So, we got 10 gods now.
And Kelly's like, and now I have 23. Don't know how I got here, but I have 23.
We're getting there. Okay. Original god, our dude who's number 10, he's got split personalities, so he counts as 2.
Oh.
Yeah, there's some more behind that one.
Don't spill it.
I'm not going to, but there's some reason behind why he's counted as 2. And then I was commissioned to draw another map for Alistair, where he wanted to borrow my map for another world, and he wanted to expand it outwards for more islands. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to move it into my world as well. Hence the creation of more continents.
More gods.
Hence the need for more gods.
You're like Brandon Sanderson over here with like so much lore. I'm over here just like, yeah, I have three.
So there is the central continent mass, and then there are the 12 zodiacs. Hence how we got to 23 gods. Because the other islands are all shaped like the zodiacs. Yeah, that's how we got to 23 gods.
Okay. I'm like, I just want like something super.
Now that the zodiacs do have significance later, but that's lore.
I just like super simple, you know. We have the god of life, the god of death, and then the god of war. Super simple for the humans. Then we have the Morgan, who is like Morgan, who's the god of everything.
No, I have to have.
And then we have the elves.
I have like a whole notebook.
Super simple.
I have to have a whole notebook filled with like all the gods, what they're the god of, and then I have to have a whole magic system because every god needs their own element.
Well, yeah, you have to have a magic system.
Yeah, so like my magic system is directly tied to my gods. So every god has to have their own magic element because my world revolves around elements, elemental magic. So you have lesser magic.
Okay.
They call it the lower magic. And that's basically like Alohomora type magic.
Alohomora!
Yeah, that's Alohomora magic. And then you have elemental magic. And elemental magic is like fire magic, but it also is like possession magic. That's one of the god's abilities.
Supernatural.
There's a god of reincarnation. So
she could come back to life.
No, her element is soul manipulation.
Does your main character annoy you sometimes? Like, I'll be writing a chapter, and I'm like, I need to rewrite this. You're being annoying.
Well, because I spend so much time making the lore, I actually haven't gotten to write my main character that much.
Oh. I'll be, like, writing her, and I'm like, I hate you.
No, I've only actually written, like, a chapter and a half.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been writing so much lore and like everybody else but my main character.
I have written a whole draft, and then I was actually supposed to send 10 chapters to Anna, but then I was like, I'm just going to start on the second draft because I need to add this character. So,
I haven't outlined, but like, I only have like one chapter drafted.
Oh, and then I was listening to a Taylor Swift song, and a scene idea popped into my head, and I was like, I need to have this beach scene.
No, actually.
So then I have
a scene in my head.
I'm like, I need to like write this out.
Get
so
that
then I had to literally, I pulled over on the side of the road. I cannot make this up. I pulled over to the side of the road. I don't even know where I was driving home from work, and I pulled over, and I literally had to, on the highway, and I had to type my scene idea out and the song that I was listening to.
No, I literally have that all the time. I'll be listening to a song, and I was like, I have a scene idea.
Me too.
So like, now I'm like, when can I insert this scene?
But like, the crazy thing is, the scene doesn't even like make sense with the song that it goes with. Mine's
10 too.
I'm like sitting here driving, and I'm like, sometimes they do, but this one didn't. It was "This Love" by Taylor Swift off the 1989 album, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, "This love is good," and I'm like, and then I literally like whipped off the road, and I was like, yank phone, start typing, like, and then I was like, yeah.
No,
so
typically my ideas do have significance to the song I was listening to.
And then I was watching How to Train a Dragon. And
that's how it all started, right? How every dragon book started. I watched How to Train Your Dragon today.
They're like, this is Burke. And I'm like, incorrect. This is the North Mountain. I don't know what you're talking about. But then I was like, wow, I need to have like a cute little dragon, like
an Indarna type.
Like an Indarna type.
An Indarna toothless.
But then I realized, I was like, it's like, toothless is literally like a cat, a squirrel, a fox, and a dog, and a bunny all at the same time. Like
his animation though, how they animated him, they used the director's cat. No, I'm not even kidding. The director was literally in his house one day, and he was like, "How am I ever going to animate this dragon?" And then he was watching his cat, and his cat was doing some funny finagling, and he was like, "That's it."
I love that idea, but I love that because I love Toothless so much. But I was like, and then the music started playing, and I was like, test drive, and I was like, I literally
listened to that on 1 hour loop.
I literally listened to the song on repeat, and I love this song. The inspiration.
I listened to the epic version.
And I was like, I'm like sitting here, and I'm like, I'm going to walk down the aisle to the song. I like no, I don't. When it's like, no, everybody stand up. The doors are opening. I'm walking down the aisle. Like, don't even play.
Yeah, but the you said you wanted a cute little dragon, which brings me to, how do you scale your dragons?
Oh, they're ginormous. Like Game of Thrones bigger than Game of Thrones. They're humongous.
Can I spoil your bubble?
So I know you've done the math for this, but it's fantasy, so I bend the world the however I want.
Yeah, I want to pop your bubble though. Game of Thrones dragon, you know Drogon? And like
I don't know what
in the books
dragon that is.
Daenerys' main dragon.
It's tiny.
He's the size of the pterodactyl in Jurassic Park.
Oh. Well, I haven't read the book.
His wingspan is supposed to be 20 feet.
I haven't read that book
from
yet.
tip to tip.
I was talking about the movie, Kelly, the show.
In the show?
He's huge.
He's half the size of a Boeing 747.
Okay, well, have you seen...
Which means his wingspan is about 64 feet.
Okay.
Tip to tip.
So this is how I've scaled my dragons, and this is how I've done it. They are, however, because they bond with the human at birth, not the human, the dragon rider at birth, at the same time the baby is born, the dragon chooses, like, their rider. It's however strong the human gets. So, like, if you're, like, super strong and just arrogant and just, like, a really brave, your dragon's going to be massive. But if you're, like, a really weak human being, or not human being, dragon rider who's, like, timid and just, like, oh, I'm not doing, your dragon is going to be, like, the size of my car. It can be, like, literally, it can span from, like, a size of, like, a Jeep Grand Cherokee to, like, a massive, like, bigger than our house.
That's tiny.
Kelly, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to put it in perspective. Like, they're huge.
Yeah.
They're ginormous.
When I was trying to figure out mine, I was literally like, I want them to be rideable, and I want them to be like,
humans are like Minoc.
Yeah, I was like, I want them to be like Game of Thrones big, and then I was like, they're about the size of a 2-story house, right? And I was doing some research into Game of Thrones, and they're like, Drogon's half the size of a Boeing 747, and that's okay. That one's half the size of a Boeing 747.
What is a Boeing 747? No,
jet.
I know what it is.
I looked it up.
No, I was saying, you were just saying, you were looking in, and then you were like, Boeing 477, and I'm like, no, I was just adding to that.
No, I wanted to know the wingspan, specifically. So I looked into it, and I was like, man, that's small.
That is small.
So I was like, nah, they gotta be bigger. I want ginormous. I want flamboyant.
Huge.
So I scaled it up. And I was like, no, originally I went with Drogon size.
They're like terrifying.
No, originally I went with the half the size, and then I scaled because I have a bunch of different dragon styles. So I rotated them, and then I was like, my smallest dragon was gonna have a wingspan of like 65 feet, and I was like, that's super tiny.
That is small.
And I was like,
huge.
that's too tiny for me. So then I scaled them up a bit. I was like, how can I scale these, for one? And then that prompted math.
Like if my car is a dragon, the human's a Lego minifigure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like saying. Huge.
Yeah, that's what I went for. So
that's what I'm saying.
My largest dragon.
Unless you're like a weak person. Then your dragon could be like this big, and then the Lego minifigure could be like this big.
My largest dragon has a wingspan of 3 football fields, assuming your football field is 360 feet.
Oh.
So his wingspan is at 1,080 feet.
Okay.
Tip to tip.
Cool.
Yeah, and he's like nearing 500 feet tall.
So
because
What do you do, like, for your dragon names? Like, how did you come up with those?
My dragon names, they're Gaelic, mostly.
Oh. I just literally came up with anything. I was like, you know what? That's cool. Your name's gonna be...
Yeah, so the dragon names, I go to a Gaelic Celtic generator and I go click. And then I search through the ones that I like, and then I look up their meaning, and if I liked their meaning and it's significant enough, I choose them.
You know what I do?
Except for a significant dragon.
You know what I do?
There is one dragon that when I was originally making the whole dragon race, I was like, the whole dragon race is based around this one dragon because his name is going to be this one name I came up with.
You know
For
what?
reference, his name is Drosius.
You've been obsessed with that name since we were 12, dude.
Yes.
Literally obsessed.
I made it up. It has a very cool origin, okay?
Okay,
So you want to hear the origin or no?
I'm gonna tell you how I come up with my dragon names first.
Okay.
Okay, so I go on Google and I Google name combiner. And then I put 2 different names in that I like, and then I combine it. That's how I got my main character's last name.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
I didn't know that was a thing.
And then it's like, I'm like, I feel like I came up with that, like, original.
That's super
like,
cool, actually.
Google came up with that for me.
That's actually super cool.
No, you should try it.
I
It's
should.
really great. 'Cause,
I
like,
might.
that's also how I came up with devils with a Y. I didn't come up with that. That's how I came up with, like, a lot of things.
I might try that. That's super cool.
Because it's, like, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, this just helps. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I could just stick I-E-N on anything. Or T-H-I on, like, I don't even know. Like, okay, now you can tell me the origin story of Drosius.
Drosius. His name stems from the word Dracarys from Game of Thrones. So when I was originally coming up with the idea, I was like...
You're, like, super excited. You're like, I came up with the idea.
Look, it's one of the only names I came up with in my entire book, okay? So, like, when I was first coming up with the idea, I was like, he's going to be one of the main dragons. It needs to be really dragony, okay? In my brain, it was like, it had to be dragony. And I was like, what's dragony? And I was like, Game of Thrones Dracarys. And then I was like, okay, how can I change that? And then I was like, if I change some of the lettering and the phonetics, Drosius came out.
That's... Kelly's like, I'm so proud of myself.
It is!
No, it's really cool.
Do you like the name?
I do like the name. You've been obsessed with that name since we were like
Yeah.
12. Literally, we were playing Barbies at 12, and she's like, this guy's name is Drosius.
Yeah! It's a really cool name!
Don't ask why we were watching Game of Thrones at 12, okay?
Look, it's like Dracarys, but instead of having R at the R after the C, it's like an I.
You actually think I know how to spell Dracarys?
Look, I took a gamble, bro. His spelling's kind of funny how I spell his name, Drosius. It's kind of fun.
Just, I like when I'm writing a book, I like to be easy. It needs to be super easy for me to type it out. Because if I have to sit there and be like,
copy and paste whatever I
copy and paste that. You know, like that dash line that's just like the big...
The hyphen?
The M, it's M
Oh,
line.
okay.
It's the M line. And I just blanked on what that was called. You have to go click insert. And then click it. When you have to continue, like, so you don't have run-on sentences. I just copy and paste it. Like, I don't want to have like another document where I need to copy and paste different, like, I don't want to have to copy and paste my main dragon's name.
Drosius doesn't have any weird phonetics on it, like the hyphens or weird Gaelic thingies on
Again,
it.
I still wouldn't know.
Some of my dragon names do.
Is that a C or an S? Drosius.
Drosius? C.
Oh, okay.
C.
Like Draco?
Like Dracarys.
Bro, I don't know how to spell Dracarys.
No,
but
car? It sounds like a car at the end.
I will say that my main dragon's name is Sarkath.
Sarcasm sounds fun.
It's really fun. It was based off of sarcastic.
Is he sarcastic?
It's a she.
She's sarcastic?
And yes, she is. She's very fun. She's like 15. She's like my favorite one.
Yeah.
She's fun.
So yeah, like my main dragons are like Drosius, and then Drosius has a brother named Siren, and that's Gaelic.
Sears.
Siren.
The outlet store.
No, it's spelled like C Airran.
Bro, all my favorite names are like already taken by like, because I'll be going to name a character and I'm like Dorian, and then I'm like, ugh. Because like Dorian Gray, like the movie Dorian, the Dorian Gray book, or like Dorian, and I'm like, ugh, but that name's already taken. Or like I'll be like Cassian. I really like that name, Cassian. Akatar.
That's rough, bro.
I do like Cassian from Akatar. I love Cassian from Akatar.
You just gotta do some name searching. Typically, when I choose my names, I'll be like,
but then I'm like, I really like Kai. I
like,
really like Kai because Kai from Ninjago is my favorite ninja. But then I'm like,
Kai's taken.
Kai is from Powerless.
Yeah, know what I do? I do girl names that mean blank. Because that's how I choose my names. They have to have a significant meaning.
No, so
like they're all their meanings. They're important to the character themselves.
I do like that. I usually do that, but with my main character, I was actually watching the news, and I got the main character's name. It's the capital of a country. And I was like, that could have a really fun nickname. And then I just
stuck with it.
So, yep, that's her name. But she's really fun. Her last name is really fun too.
That's nice.
We're just like dancing around their names.
We are. My character's last name is really basic.
It's Andrews.
No, it's even worse.
It's Johnson Smith.
No, it's like an amalgamation of words, but it's super basic.
What is it?
I'm not gonna spoil it because it actually has a lore point, okay? It's a lore point.
Oh.
Yeah.
So mine's actually super basic too, but it actually goes with the fact that she's the child of, so like the first one of her last name is her like father.
Well, actually, no, I take it back. You can know her last name.
So what's her last name?
Archer. I told you it was basic.
Archer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not even the word.
Yeah. Her last name's Archer.
Okay, well I'll tell you mine. Mine is Garothin.
That's so much cooler than Archer.
Yeah, and her dad's name is Garrett. So it's because she's the child of Garrett. Oh. So it's Garothin.
That's even cooler, Galen.
Right? I came up with that all by myself, and I was like, wow, I'm like so smart.
Yeah, well, mine's super basic for a couple of reasons. One being, it was the name given to her by a child, so it had to be very childish.
Cool. No, mine's actually really cool because I thought of that, and I was like, Garothin. And I was like, wow, that's like really sick because her dad's name's Garrett. And then I was like, wait a second. All the people who live in like the kingdom, because she lives in the kingdom, their last names are all gonna be like their dad and then Thin. So then it's gonna be like
sick, Kaylin.
So then like you know that's where they came from, because they're like the kingdom is like separate from.
You should have the kingdom ending Thin too.
No, it's actually called the Red Kingdom. Like it's really basic. It's like the Red Kingdom, and it's like I've got to workshop that because I hate that.
Yeah, probably.
It's like the Red Kingdom. I'm like, wow, that sounds like so stupid. But I've been struggling to come up with like a name for it because I'm like, it needs to sound really cool.
See, I name my countries in the language of which that country is going to have all its cities named.
Mine's English. So
that's really unfortunate.
They all speak American, so
that's really unfortunate. Actually, my one English-based nation, I haven't visited in a while. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's called Nidora.
I love what you said. I haven't visited it. Like you live there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Nidora.
Like I really wanted like my book to have like Assassin's Creed vibe.
I love Assassin's Creed.
Like, I love that game so much, and I'm like
Ezio vibes.
No, like
that's literally the whole vibe of Nidora. It's gonna be all set like Assassin's Creed.
Like no, like their vibe, like they're so cool. Like they're so cool. Like they're just like they're so cool. They are really cool. Like her Her brother is named Ronan, and he's so cool.
I love the name Ronan.
I love that name. I actually got that from a boy, like a 1,000 name boy thing. And
Do you know what it means?
no idea. You told me like 6 times, and I'm just like, I
So
don't really
Ronin
care.
is actually the term in which Japanese
Oh,
call
Alistair told me that.
disgraced
And then Alistair-
samurai.
And then Alistair was like, oh, he could be like a 6 samurai. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
they call
he's
disgraced
already
samurai
accepted.
who abandoned their masters Ronins.
really cool.
So Ronin essentially means like a wanderer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's really cool. He's like very nonchalant, and I love writing him. Like, if you're thinking it, he's very much like a Riddick. Like, not gonna lie. He's just like, if you're thinking
I
it,
have a character like
if
that.
you're thinking it, he's like Pierre. Like, if you're thinking it,
He's gonna say it.
He's saying it.
I have a character
He's
like
like-
that. I love those
he's like-
characters.
He's like, what? He's like,
I love those characters.
he's like, you're just stupid.
Dude,
Like,
I
what are you
literally,
doing?
I was writing my one chapter I have written, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna need one of these.
It's like, no, you absolutely do. And that's how she ended up with a brother. Because I was like, no, I need, and actually his name was originally Callum. But I was like, Ronan sounds cooler.
Yeah.
So we workshopped Callum. But I do like Callum. And I that's like in my extra fat section. Because I was like, I really do like the name Callum. So I'm like, okay, maybe there can be a character down the road named Callum. And he goes by Cal. But I was just like...
You gotta have the cut up. The one who just says everything
I
everybody's
love
thinking.
Ronan, and Ronan has my heart. I love. I would marry Ronan, and I made him up in my head. I'm just like, I love him. He's like
See, that character in my series, his name is Blaine.
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 Blaine is lame.
No, it's just, his name's Blaine.
Blaine.
Yep,
Love
Blaine.
him. We love him already.
I mean,
What
now
does Blaine do?
I might take the Blaine is lame because he's in a group of children. So some of the kids might tease him like that. That is a very good pull out.
Wow, you're welcome. I came up with that.
They're literally in a group of kids, so the other kids might tease him about it. So
I love that. Blaine.
no, but his name.
Blaine and Ronan. We should have like a memorial for them.
Are you kidding? They're gonna die?
I don't know.
Whoa!
I just jumped the gun.
No,
I was
Blaine.
like, are they dead?
Blaine's a blondie.
He's blonde.
He's blonde.
Ronan is not. Ronan has dark hair.
Blaine's blonde.
I have such a bad habit that I make all my characters dark-haired characters, and then I'm like, no, I need to make them have very
Okay, so
because I literally am attracted to dark-haired guys, and then I'm
I
like,
feel that.
I'm like, every single guy is dark-haired blue eyes or dark-haired green eyes because that's like what I like, and then I'm like, wait a second, I can't
Okay,
do that.
so-
I can't do that. So then I'm like, okay, random character, you have blonde hair.
So yeah.
Then I was like, I was making my main character, and I was like, she has blonde hair. But then I was reading Assassin's Blade, and I found out Selena has blonde hair. So then I changed her hair color.
No, Galen, I was literally
They can't have the same hair color.
doing my
then I was
outline,
like, no,
and then I
but
was
then I was
reading
like-
through, and I was like, they're all dark hair. I had to go through, and I was like, you're now a ginger.
No, literally me. But then I was like, because then I changed my main character's hair because she was gonna be blonde.
Yeah.
But then I changed her to have dark hair, and I'm like, no, that fits you better. Like, you shouldn't be blonde. Like, your name does not go with a blonde. Like,
Yeah.
you're not blonde, girl. You're dark hair. So Ronan is also now dark haired because he was also gonna be blonde. But then I was like, nope, they're now dark haired characters. But
No, there's certain characters
I
that
was
need to
like-
be dark haired. Like I have one character. who's-
the main love interest has to be dark haired for me. I'm like,
oh, he definitely
this is probably why I didn't like Tamlin because he was blonde.
Yeah. No, I definitely have one character that I really like. He's an elf. My elves are unique, actually. They're not your basic elves, like Lord of the Rings type elves.
Majestic.
My elves, their ears are kind of like, you know how
Oh, I know. They're pointed out this way, like some anime.
Yeah, kind of. So, you know how our family, we call them the winder ears, they kind of like stick forward like Dumbo? Like they're bigger?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Anna's ears?
You just said that on the podcast. I'm gonna bleep that out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of round forward a bit. It's a kind of an ear. Okay, so my elves' ears are kind of like that. They round forward a bit, and yes, they do stick out to like here. They have longer ears. That's part of how you distinct them from the Fae, because the elves and the Fae are two different people groups.
Okay. Well, mine are like normal elves.
No,
and their ears are like, they're actually normal size, and they're just
but this character, he's a half elf. Okay, so his ears are not out to here.
Thank the Lord.
His ears are simply rounded, so rounded forward and slightly pointed. So they're the size of like how you would normally have like Legolas ears.
I love Legolas.
But they're rounded forward slightly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how his ears are.
So do you have like different things? So I have like the halflings, and then I have the rogues. So the rogues are like the elite assassins, and then I have the halflings, I have the rogues, and then I have the rangers, and the rangers are like Aragorn type guys.
Well, I haven't quite created any of those.
I say everybody's cool. They are cool.
I've created the one group I have created kind of like that is called the Black Ghosts.
Oh.
And they've got some unique backstories, but they're essentially a unique group of killer warriors who go on the battlefield. We're taking place during a war, for reference. Okay.
I love a fantasy.
They're essentially they're the elite troops.
The elite troops.
Yeah, they're kind of worth like a whole army.
Very normal.
Hence why they're called ghosts.
Okay.
Because you're just dead.
Oh.
They're really busted. So that's their group, and I do have what's called the Irregulars.
Irregulars?
The Irregulars. And they're unique dragons.
Okay.
If I'm gonna put it simply. They're unique dragons.
Like wyvern? Or
No.
like wraiths?
No.
Ooh, wraiths.
So my dragons have a very high customization rate.
What are we, like, customizing our car? Let's lower it. Let's put customized tires on it. Let's repaint it.
Well, let's just
Tint
say
the windows.
my dragons, I think I have
7%.
7 or 8 colors they can be. For one. So you can have black, purple, blue, red, orange, white, and green. So 7.
Okay.
There's 7 dragon colors.
Okay.
Right? And within those colors, there are, I want to say there's 7 or 8 different kinds of tails you can have.
Okay.
And then there's a couple different wing designs. So your wings can be shaped differently. So they can have like spikes on their joint ends.
She said spikes?
Or like another hand on your joint end, like a wyvern. You know how wyverns in like Game of Thrones, how they have wyverns have only one set of legs? Because dragons have 4 legs, right?
What?
Dragons have 4 legs,
yeah.
wyverns have 2.
Mm-hmm.
And wyverns use their wings as a set of hands, right?
Yeah.
Because in the bends, they have a hand grip, right?
Yeah.
That is another wing design.
But you said they have an extra, so they have an extra claw? Like they're
They
like
have
this?
they have like that hand grip. Dragons don't normally have that hand grip because they're not wyverns.
Oh, okay. You
That
were
is-
just saying they have an extra hand, and I was thinking they have like this.
No, you can have that kind of wing thing.
Scared.
The irregulars, their dragons, think of them as dragons who were born with maybe multiple heads.
Oh, so like a hydra.
Yep. The irregulars can have multiple heads. They can have multiple tails. They can have multiple sets of wings. They can have multiple sets of eyes. They're very weird.
I'm so glad my dragons are like normal.
They're very rare, hence why they're called the irregulars. But the irregulars do have some perks. Like the ones with extra sets of wings are extremely fast.
Okay.
Because, more wings, more speed.
Mm-hmm.
So the more wings you have, the more fast you are. The more heads you have, the more vision you can see.
Right.
So the irregulars do have their perks.
So, like, what if they're just flying and one head's going this way and the other head's doing this?
Well, you can see a lot. But I'd hate to be their rider because you got 2 different personalities going on.
Oh,
Because for each head, you have a different dragon personality.
okay.
So if you had a poor irregular with 4 heads, you got 4 personalities in one body.
It's very irregular.
Hence why they're called the irregulars.
I don't even know how we got onto this topic.
You said
I'm
groups,
scared.
like unique groups of people.
Well,
and I said,
yeah.
I have the black ghost.
You started talking about dragons.
Yes, I said-
I was talking about like just like outlaws.
I said I had the black ghosts who were like you like elite troops. And then I said I had the unique group of irregulars.
Is that it?
I haven't created any other ones yet.
okay.
Well, there's the main troops group, which is like the little story point, the little group of kids. But there's them that you're
It's like
following.
the younglings from Star Wars.
Kinda, yeah.
Mr. Skywalker. There's too many of them.
The lab experiments.
There's too many of them.
There's
What should we do?
there's the group of the lab experiments, but they don't have a name yet.
Wow, I'm like the Rangers, the Halflings.
Oh, and there's the saint.
There's the saint.
There's the saint.
A saint.
Yes.
Is he like a? What is he? Her? She? He,
The
he.
saint ties into the magic system of the god of light,
Okay.
which chooses to only gift their magic to one person, which is called the saint.
Okay.
And their magic is light magic that can essentially cure any disease or ailment.
Okay.
And they're called the saint.
Okay.
And they are only gifted once per person and generation. So that person has to be killed to get another person to get it. But they're super busted.
So your main character gets it.
No. She's not the saint.
Okay. I just assume in every fantasy book that the main character
No.
gets anything.
Nope,
anything-
she's not the saint. But no, there is
Oh, but I did actually learn.
there is the saint going around too. Oh, I do have another cool group. There's the Magic Tower Masters. They're an elite group of mages that are almost on god tier magic level.
Ooh, so they could just destroy the world.
Yeah, that's why they have to have like a magic pact, but they can't do that.
They're like, we have a treaty.
Yeah, they're like,
What?
we magic masters are only here to study magic. We can't destroy the world.
Your voice.
Yeah, there's the Magic Tower Masters. There's 7 magic towers.
7? Oh, I think I remember you telling me
Yeah.
about
They're colored too.
that. Color coordinated.
They're colored.
What I want from you is your voice.
Yeah, the Magic Tower colors are also the same colors as the dragons.
That's scary. Kelly's like, I just made all this lore.
I can't help it, bro.
I-
I need to know the backstory.
Okay, so like, do you make the lore before you make the outline, or do you make the outline and then the lore?
Oh, the lore comes to me first.
Oh, okay. Okay, so usually, like, for me, like, scenes and the plot come before the lore. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. And then the lore, I'll be, like, writing, which is why it took me so long to get through my first draft, because I'll be, like, writing, and I'm like, the lore. The lore comes to me, and I'm like, and then, like,
No, so like the lore is just I get the whole lore, and then I was like, man, I need a story to tell everybody about this lore, and that's how the story comes about.
Kelly's like, I need, like, a main character.
Yeah,
So,
the lore's created, and then I need a story to share the lore.
yeah. So, okay, so, like, did you start writing it as, like a romantasy, like, to start with, or did you start writing it as just a fantasy novel and the romance came with it?
So
Because I was gonna start writing mine as a romantasy to start with, but then I was like, this is, like, I'm, like, too focused on, like, writing it as a romantasy, so then I just started writing it as a fantasy novel, and then the romance came just as it came. Like the characters built their own chemistry and built their own romance for me.
So, as I talked about, there was multiple morphications of the story arc because it went through multiple storylines, right?
Right.
So originally it was gonna be at like a romantasy. I was like, this is gonna be main character, romance interest. They're gonna get together in the end.
Mm-hmm.
How the story eventually morphed out to where it currently is. it is not a romantasy anymore. It does not work out that way. So currently, it's kind of just a fantasy.
Okay, yeah, because I was like really, I was like, these characters, like, they do not complement each other at all. Like, there's nothing, and like the way I was like writing them, and then I was like, I just scrapped the whole romantasy thing, and then I was like, I'm just gonna try to write it as a fantasy novel. And if the romance comes, it comes. If she has chemistry with another character, she has chemistry with another character. And then I'll play off of that. If the jealousy comes along, it comes along. And, like, it just unfolded on its own. So, like, that, I think that was, like, the best approach that I could possibly take.
Yeah, I'm taking the fantasy approach. I know, I kind of want to weave in some romance later. But, how I'm starting the book, I'm starting it when she's quite young. So, like, the character...
You're, like, writing a prequel.
Essentially, yeah, because I need to get the lore out there first so you can actually start the series.
She's like, I have too much lore.
Yes! So, to get you where you need to be, you do need to have a prequel. So, the romance...
Yeah, you can't just be like that grandma that was just, like, randomly drops lore, and you're like, yeah, I just, like, busted down this guy's house in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
like,
so, the romance... I do have some people in mind. If I do want it to happen, I do have some characters in mind that it could happen with. However, in the first book, she is, like, 10. So, it's not gonna happen.
No.
At this point, it's like... We're siblings, and we are hanging out as siblings. Like, I care for you as my sibling. Like, that's the relationship. It's I'm trying to save my sibling relationship. If you think there's romance in book one, well, it's sibling caring.
I wasn't sure, like, where you were starting it out, because I know at one point you were not, because my characters are 21. Mm-hmm. I have such a bad habit of writing my characters the same age as me. Like, so my main character, she's 21. And then my main male character, he's 24. 23, and then he turns 24. I think he's 24. I think he starts out at 23, and then he has, like, a 24th birthday.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering that correctly.
So, yeah, no. So, ironically, first draft, I was going to start the book without the main character was going to be 16.
Ooh, Selena's our obvious.
Yeah, she was going to be 16 in the original draft. And I was going to start out as a romantasy. And then I was like, the lore.
The lore.
The lore needs to come out. So I backed it up. And so in book one, she's 10. And everybody else in her group, so her siblings, everybody else is 11.
Okay.
So she's the youngest.
Of course.
Yes, she's the youngest, and her siblings are 11.
I live for that.
Yes. And so, essentially, it is literally just a fantasy novel where you were following the story of a group of siblings.
No, but I love that. So, like,
it's gonna be kind of innocent.
Like, so starting it out, like, do you have an idea of where your book begins and where your book, like, how many books are you planning, or are you just writing to see what happens? Or, do you know where the book... Do you know what I'm saying?
I have an idea of at least 3 books. Okay. I don't know if it's actually going to take 3 books. It might take more than 3 books. Like, I have a vague idea of a point where I want to get.
Okay.
I don't know if I might want to expand it past that point.
Okay.
Because I feel like I could.
Okay.
But I don't know if I will.
Okay.
But I might.
So, like, at this point in time, do you know where each book begins and where each book ends?
I know where book 1 begins and ends.
Okay.
I know where book 2 begins.
Okay.
And I think I know where book 2 ends.
Okay.
I might know where book 3 begins, but it's gonna depend on how much lore fits in the first 2 books.
It's like this thick.
It's like shifting. It's shifting timelines, okay?
Okay.
Because yeah, I've a lot of time to cover with the main character, because she's got to age quite a bit throughout the series.
Okay. And a lot of character growth.
Yeah, because she's starting the series at age 10, and I think I want to end the series when she's probably around 20-something.
25.
So she's got some...
quarterback.
We've got some years to cover. We've got some years to cover.
Yeah, that's 15 years.
Yeah, we've got some years to cover.
That's a lot.
So...
Because I was like,
lore.
I'm going to write 1 book.
No, the lore.
I have like 3 books, and then I was like writing the first draft.
Feels like it's gonna be a trilogy.
But then I was like, no, because I was like, I love trilogies, and then I was like, I need to write a prequel. But I'm like, I could just write a novella, and that's a prequel. But because I was like, I just added like some lore. I like added like, because now there's like this other thing that happened that I added, and then there's like this new character, and then I made this whole backstory for this new character, and I'm like, oh, kind of need to like add that. So I do actually know, and like I have like at the top of my outline document for outline 1, I'm like, book 2, like this does not fit into book 1, does not make sense in book 1, and like it's in like,
it's like questionable beginning, possibly starts here, might start earlier.
I know exactly where book 1 ends because I've already written it, but I know exactly where book 2 begins, where it ends, and where book 3 picks up, and where book 3 ends. Like, I know what happens in the end. Who's calling?
Probably Mom.
Who's calling?
Let's see. Bolton, Massachusetts. No clue.
That is rude. So, no, I know exactly where book 3 ends. I know how the trilogy ends. And
Is it going to remain a trilogy?
we'll have to see what happens.
Okay. So you're not expanding the lore out to a couple more books?
It might, depending on, like, because, you know, everything's subject to change. I haven't even outlined book 3 yet. Like, I'm like, so I might move, like, I might cut scenes. Like, I might add scenes, like, but I'm like, I know what I want to have happen, and I'm super excited, but I'm like, I just have to, like, finish writing my drafts.
I know. I have so much lore in my head.
I don't have that. The lore in my head goes crazy.
I have so much lore in my head that I just want to get out, but it's presenting it in the right way and through the medium of the main character.
And then the writing.
Because there's so much lore about various people and various locations that I want to get out because it's important, but getting it out through the medium of,
and then you're like,
well, a group of children to begin with.
And then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that character. No, I'm just kidding. There was one character that I totally forgot about, and then I was like, you're dead. No, I was just kidding. She's not dead. She's alive. But I was like, I did forget about her. And then I was like reading. I was reading my draft the Friday night, and I was like, who are you? I was like reading chapter 1, and I was like editing things, and I was like, I don't remember you.
She goes, I don't remember you at all.
And then I'm like making notes. I'm like, okay, she needs to remember this character. I love it. I love writing.
I've just got too much lore. I think that's my problem.
Brandon Sanderson over here with her lore. She's got stacks and stacks and stacks of lore. She's gonna have beta readers who like have lists of what the lore is, so that she doesn't like overlap lore. And they're like, that actually doesn't make any sense, Kelly.
The controversy with the lore.
She's like, that god does not do that.
Yeah, I actually do have like a master character sheet of like everybody has a biography.
Yeah.
It's called the character book, and like the document is literally called map characters.
Map characters,
and it's literally all the characters.
So I have the title of my book, which is like my draft document stuff, and then draft 1, and then the title of my book, draft 2, and then I have my glossary, which is titled, and then I have my untitled outline. It's called Untitled Document.
Of course it is. Yeah, so what I have, Kaylin, I've got map characters. And map characters has tab 1, map characters. Tab 2, map locations. So I have an outline of all my locations. So if I give a description of a location, it's going to go into map locations under that location so I can recall that description later. So I don't have to go searching for it.
Well, I just don't go searching for it.
And any significant facts,
all titled in my
and any significant facts to said location is going to go under map locations, under that location names. under that location's name, under facts. Like, it's very organized. And then I have a document labeled map outline.
I've just, so like in my outline, I have like all my chapters, and then I have like extra fat, and then I have characters, and then I have all my characters are like the second heading.
Yeah.
So then they're like off to the side, and then they're all like all the way down, and I'm like, remember that I have too many characters. And then so when you write, so like obviously it's unpredictable, but like when I create a character, I might decide that they're dead. So like when I write their biography, I'm like, I'm just gonna make up this name, Jill Hoffman, dead.
Yep.
Like I just start that out like with my
I'll be going through. I'll be like, they're this tall. They look like this. This is their magic
and then I'll like describe how they die.
This is their family. I don't describe how they die because
I already know how they're gonna die.
Their death could be subject to change. But I'll be like, dies at some point in this book. I'll decide which book it is. So I'll be like, this character dies at some point in book 2. Or this character dies at this time. Or I just decide, like, creates a character, they're dead already. But they're there for the lore, so you need to know about their fact.
No, because I will create a character, and I'll be like, using Jill Hoffman, I don't even know, made that up. Okay. I'll be like, Jill Hoffman, dead. And then I'll, like, age, like, died at age. Yeah,
you give them their whole
biography. I'll be like,
because they're important.
Yeah, they're important, and they were literally a person. And so, but then I'll be like, I'll describe how they died. And I know exactly how they died. Like, even if they're not dead yet, like, they might even be a character. But I know, there's this one character, and I know how they're gonna die. And it was a shower thought moment. And I'm like, I've tried to change it, but I'm like, I can't change it. It's in my head, and I'm like, okay. I shouldn't be smiling.
I did have one of those, actually.
And then I'm like, but then I don't something similar. It actually, like, low-key, the foreshadow that I had is crazy, because there's something similar that happens at the beginning of the book, and it's not really the beginning, but I was like, that's crazy. Another character dies kind of in the same way. And I'm like, it's not like the same way, but it's like kind of similar. And I'm like, the foreshadow's crazy. But it's fine.
Yeah, no, I don't write them down though. Like, I'll write down,
but this character was like a in the moment, like,
no,
this just happened and this character just died.
No, I'll write down,
start
like,
out as like he was gonna die.
I'll write them down like, dies in blah blah blah, or dies at blah blah blah. Like, I'll write down what they die, or that at this point. And sometimes I'll write down the cause of their death, like if they were killed by somebody, I'll write down that. But I don't typically write down how they died, because if I thought of it, the whole scene is still stashed in my long-term memory. And once I see the dies at this first point by this type, like killed by this person, the whole shower thought returns. I have the whole scene back in my head, and I'm like, got it.
No, literally, I like stash these like scenes and thoughts in my head, and I'm like, I can't get it out, and I'm like, and then like writing it out, I like have to. It's like insane. Like,
you need the right music. It's gotta have the right vibe.
It has to have the right vibe. It has to have the right music, and like a lot of the time, if it's not the song that I thought of the scene to, then it's not gonna be right. Like that's why when we were talking about our book last week, and I was like, no, the song "Enchanted to Meet You," like I had to write that. Like, or "You're Losing Me," and it didn't even go with the scene, but I had to write it to that song because that's the song that I was listening to when I thought of the scene. Like, it has to be that song. It's so frustrating sometimes. And then I get an idea, and then I Google something, and then I'm like, or I read a book, and I'm like, bruh, why did you have to steal my idea? It's fine. No, but I have, so like, my main character, she's an assassin. She's really cool. I like her a lot. She's my favorite character. But she's annoying. Maybe because I live inside her head all the time.
Oh.
But
I haven't gotten to know my main character as much yet, so I don't know if she's annoying. Because I've only written like one chapter, actually.
Well,
I've been working too much on the lore.
Well, okay, I shouldn't say like annoying, but I think all main character female characters are annoying. Like, but they like grow on you. So I'm actually like, with this second draft that I'm doing, I'm like trying to write chapters in his point of view as well. So like every other, like trying to do most every other chapter, there's like a chapter in my MMC's main character, like MMC's POV. So it's not, I'm not like gonna annoy myself.
So I'm doing something similar too. So like how we did in SOS, multiple point of views. I like how we have multiple point of views because again, I don't like getting annoyed with my character or being like, ugh, I hate having to read this
and
character.
I love reading the male main character
I love
POV.
hearing other people's thoughts, and sometimes being in another person's point of view is necessary for the lore drops.
True.
So
I want to your grandfather in the
I want to establish that I'm gonna move point of views
Okay.
instead of just randomly switching point of views for a lore drop
Okay.
when it's necessary. So in book 1 we do switch point of views quite a bit, and it's gonna be between the main group of kids.
Okay.
So like the first chapter, it's to like her. So sometimes you get like the main character for like 2 chapters, and then you'll get one of the one of the male leads. So the group of children, I probably should just say this now. The main group of children that you're following in the series is 2 girls and 3 boys.
Okay.
So there's the main character. Her name is I'm just gonna tell you this. Her name's Nyx.
Okay.
And I think I'm a lot.
Don't become a public speaker because they'll be like.
Actually, think about it. The first chapter is in her point of view, and chapter 2 is actually in one of the boys' point of view.
Okay.
It's necessary for how the scene's playing out, actually, because something intense happens in chapter 1. So for how it's playing out, I needed to switch.
Kelly.
I needed to switch point of views. So chapter 2 takes place in one of the boys' point of views, and I think chapter 3 is also in one of the boys' point of views. I'm not entirely sure. Don't remember. But it switches very periodically. So you're going to get point of views of all the kids, so you're going to get to know the inside of all the kids' heads.
So, yeah, because the first...
So you don't really think of it as the main Nyx as the main character, really.
The first draft that I wrote was all in her POV, and I was like, I'm really annoyed with you.
Kayla's like, I hate you.
I think I was just writing her too much. And so I was like, so this second one that I'm writing, I'm trying to write, like, what my MMC is doing.
Yeah.
And, like, and I'm having so much fun. I'm like, wow. I'm like, he's like a totally different character than what she is. And I'm like, I'm having so much fun with you. Do you want to come over? No, I'm just
She's like, I'm gonna dump my boyfriend and I'm gonna go out with my male lead.
It's 6:38, dude. I told you we could talk about this for hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are you saying it like that?
Well, that's because how you say it. It's like, yes. What is that? Oh my god.
I can't tell if my hair looks gross or amazing.
I think it's the dark.
Oh, but my skin looks glowy.
That's the light.
Oh.
I'm also blind though, so.
Yeah. It's really dark, and I'm like, I keep looking. I'm like, is that guy gonna come back?
I don't know, bro. Either way. No, I went to do a fantasy story about a group of kids instead of I'm a young girl against the world.
Whoops!
Or I'm a young boy against the world.
I've actually never read any books like that.
Percy Jackson.
Oh, I did read Percy Jackson. Oh, I also read Harry Potter.
Typically, it's just about like one kid. I wanted to do a group.
But we were literally just talking about this the other day. Like, is it
Yeah.
going to be appropriate for kids to read?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be bloody and gory?
Oh, it might be a little gory.
But is it going to be appropriate for young kids to read?
Might be. We'll see. See how it turns out. It definitely won't be how smutty, that's for sure. Because I'm not that kind of writer. Because we were talking about this the other day, how a lot of modern books that Book Talk recommends, like 4th grade. has a lot of description in that area that you're like, do I really want my 13-year-old daughter reading this? Young me. I didn't read at 13. I read at like,
She read it at
17. I read it at 17.
Fourth Wing came out when you were 17. And
Yeah.
then when I read that, I was like,
Yeah, you were horrified.
you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's
No,
totally
that
fine.
that definitely will not be in my series. You might have to worry about the action scenes, but that's probably it.
But, like, are they going to be, like, horrific for... Because there's action scenes in Percy Jackson, but, like, are they going to be, like...
Entrails falling out? Probably not.
What did you just say?
Your entrails falling out?
Oh, I thought you said something else, and I was like, what?
No, like your intestines.
Yeah, no, I got what you
Like,
said.
I'm probably not going to describe your intestines falling out if that's what
Oh.
you're asking.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I was asking. Yeah. So, like, would you let your 13-year-old kid read it?
It's probably going to have the violence level of, like, throwing a glass.
I would let my 13-year-old read their note.
I read Throwing a Glass at 13.
You did?
Yeah,
No, you
I read it.
didn't.
I read it in 8th grade for my IRP book. That's when I first read it.
Oh, so you were 13.
That's when I first read the series.
It's taking you... Wait, how old are you now? 19?
So
Bro, it's taking you...
No, okay,
7
so
years to
let
6 years to
let
read
me
it?
the full story is I
That's
first read
crazy.
I read Throne of Glass, Crown Midnight. I read all the way up
Crown of Midnight.
Crown Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, and then I read halfway of Empire of Storms.
Bro, I want to know who this Ronin kid is. I
And
don't
then-
even know who he is.
and
but
then
he's like a fae or something.
8th grade year finished, right?
Mhm.
And then I transferred schools. So I had to return the library book of Empire of Storms to the Greenfield library, the school library. So I never finished it. And then COVID hit. So I never finished it. And I never got back to reading it or renting it from the library. So I never picked up the series. And then I picked it up again after I read ACOTAR, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of liked this author. And I remember reading Through the Glass. I remember that. That was a good book series. So then I was like, I should finish that series. And then I was like, I can't just start halfway through Empire of Storms. I'm not going to remember jack squat.
So you read it over again.
So I reread it. And that time reread it with Assassin's Blade because I hadn't read Assassin's Blade in 8th grade. So Assassin's Blade was completely new to me. So I read it in Assassin's Blade and then all the way up through.
Did you read You thought Assassin's Blade was such a drag to read. I
did.
love that book.
I did think it was a
I read
drag.
it first, and anytime I see TikTok and they're like, where should I read Assassin's Blade? I literally comment first.
Oh yeah, I always say first because you need it for lore drops later.
I'm like, they're not gonna know. They're not gonna know who Sam is.
Yeah.
I love Sam. Sam
No,
is
not just Sam.
No, yes, just for Sam.
No, some of the other
Angel.
characters
Arabin.
that they mention in that book are important
The
later.
salt mines of Endovier.
Some are important later for lore drops. So like that book's important. You're not gonna know jack squat what they're referencing.
I know, but I keep seeing all these. Like I accidentally scrolled past a TikTok of this guy named Rowan, and I'm like, who is this guy?
He's hot.
And she kissed Dorian, and I literally kicked and screamed at my book and threw it. And I remember when I said I hated him. Can anybody remember that? Because I don't remember that. Well, I clearly do. Also, my hair looks really long, dude.
Yeah.
It's like getting so long. I'm so happy. But and Kale is jealous, and I love him so much.
I love him too.
Kale is like my favorite. Sam's my favorite, but Sam died, so like I have to like move on. So Kale is like my rebound, and like I'm in love with him.
Absolutely.
And he's jealous, and he went to go ask her to dance at the ball, and Dorian got there first. No, he didn't. Kale did, but Dorian got to dance with her, and Kale didn't. And
Kale was like, "I love you, Dorian, but you messed up."
And Nehemia? Girl,
I love her!
Girl, what? I love her. I want to learn. I want to learn the language. Speaks perfectly fine. Then you're just like the rest of the people in this castle.
You like her?
No, I like her, but like she's like kind of like a Not.
I love her.
Caltane is a. Yup. Yup.
Some people think she's the Saurian.
That's great.
And Akatar.
Amryn?
Mm-mm.
Wait, what did you say? You didn't say Amryn, did you?
Some people think that Caltane
Okay.
is the Suriel
Oh, I
in
thought you said.
Akatar.
Oh.
You'll figure out why later.
Girl, what? You're
But
lore dropping.
there is a theory on that.
You're lore dropping. Kale is like. I'm gonna go back to Kale. I saw an AI generated picture of him and I was like.
He's so hot, bro.
I was like.
I know, right?
Tapped on the card? What do you mean? I don't want the crown prince. I think he's a bastard child.
Yeah.
Why are you... No, listen, no. The book literally said no one knew where his eyes came from. So, either it's not the queen, not the king, so the queen's getting around, so where did the eyes come from?
I don't know, bro. I haven't finished the series.
You're saying.
It's possible.
I think Kale's gonna die, and because every time I start to fall in love with a character, they die. Except Rhysand. But Rhysand died, so...
He came back to life, though.
But he still died, so every single time I fall in love with a character, they die. I fell in love with Sam, died.
Well, you knew that was coming.
Fell in love with Sam, he died.
You knew that was coming.
Fall in love with Kale, he's gonna die. I just know he's gonna die. I know how this works. I've been around this rodeo a couple times, Kelly. If literally I saw this TikTok of this person that was like, oh, Sarah said that someone was gonna betray the inner circle in the next book or something for Akatar, and I was like, if it's Cassian, I'm gonna kill myself.
Kale's like, I'm ending it.
I love him because I literally love him. I love Azriel too, bro. Did you read the bonus chapter yet? For Azriel.
No, I forgot.
No, I don't need you to read it. It's so good.
I've been trying to finish Onyx Storm between school.
Bro, it's literally like a 5-minute read. And I read it when I'm having a bad day. I just like literally will Google the PDF and I'll read it. Because it's like, I literally kick and scream every time. It's like so giddy. I'm like, ah. No, I love him. I just love him.
I love Azriel and Elaine's relationship, and I want to read more about it. Like, I need a book. Honestly,
yeah, because like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, he's just like so like, she's like, I hate you.
No,
and he's like, yup. Now pick up the sword and we're gonna fight. It's like,
Azriel?
no, Nesta and Cassian.
No, I like Azriel and Elaine's relationship better.
You just said I love Cassian and Nesta's relationship, and I want to read more about it.
But I like Azriel and Elaine's better.
I want to read that. That's why I'm like,
the next book better be them.
If it's not them, if it's Tamlin.
Some people think Elaine is going to be with Tamlin in the end.
I will literally never read a Sarah J. Maas book ever again.
Because she's like there's always all this hints
she's like
that she's the embodiment of spring.
No,
because she's been described that
when you read that bonus chapter,
she's been described as
you will literally feel the same way. When you read that bonus chapter, you're gonna be like, I will never read a Sarah book ever again if she does not get. And if this is,
I just want to say that the fact that she's already supposed to be mated with Lucian, but she's falling in love with the Shadow Singer. Like,
I think it's hot.
Forbidden love. I want it right now.
No, literally, give it to me. Give it to me. I will eat that.
Give it to me. I want to eat it up. There was already chemistry when they first met.
There's
like
chemistry.
He gave her.
He's quiet.
No, he gave her his special sword too in the battle that he never gave anybody else. Like, give it to me.
I just have to say, when she was like captured and everything, he was like, "No, we have to go get her."
I know. He was like, "We're going to get her."
I literally died. I was like, "No, if it's not them, I don't know what I'm gonna do," because she set it up so it could be that 3 bat boys, 3 sisters. Why would you enter with Lucian? Nobody wants to date a ginger.
Obviously, so it's a forbidden romance.
Because
if not, I don't want anything to do with Sarah J. Maas books.
Nobody wants to marry a ginger.
Says Ginger. Says Ginger.
I'm just gonna
quoted. Can I get that on merch? Nobody wants to wear a ginger.
Said ginger. No, no, but not Lucian. Like, you literally are just a jerk.
He is,
Nobody likes you. But no, if it's not them, I will never read a Sarah book ever again. I will read the ones, but they're just so perfect. And when you read Asriel and Elaine's bonus chapter, you're gonna understand what I'm saying, and you're gonna feel the same way, and you're just gonna be like, "There's no way." There's no way. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, like, especially with his behavior so far in Silver Flames, where he's, like, kind of over more a bit. Like, how he's acting, like, he's kind of be like, he's not, like, getting as much over obsessed with more, like, how she's acting. He's kind of a little more withdrawn. And I think it's because of, he's hooked on Elaine.
I love Elaine. She's so, like, and he's super, like, hard-headed, and he's just like he's almost like shy, but he's like quiet, and he's like just goes, but and Elaine's like soft-spoken, and just like they're like literally perfect for each other.
They're like night and day.
It's so perfect, and I love it. And if they don't, and she hasn't even released a release date yet, I will pre-order that book so fast. But then I'll burn it if it's Tamlin.
Caitlin's like, let me read the back. Does it say Tamlin's story? I'm not pre-ordering. I'm done.
I wonder what it's going to be called. Spring and Shadows. A Court of Spring and Shadows. And then it will be Elaine and Asriel. No, but that would be not a bad name.
Yeah, but Silver Flames is Nessa's kind of thing, isn't it?
Silver Flames, yeah.
Court of Silver Flames.
She's on fire, bro. She said, ah! And then Rhys-Sand came in and was like, it was a nightmare. After he put her...
Yeah, but Elaine's ability is all-seeing. She's a seer. So maybe it'll be like some of the seers.
Bro, I just can imagine their love story being so good.
Me too, but we probably need to end the podcast.
No, we do. We're at 2 hours. I'm going to have to split this in half.
Well, no, because we ran it in the beginning, so it's not 2 hours.
Yeah, but it's still going to be like 45 minutes each, so I can still split it in half.
We'll see.
Okay, we're going to go.